Hello and welcome to the first episode of North London Is. I'm Julian Reback and my co-host, Mad Deluded Gunner, Perry Young. How are you, Pez?
I'm all right, Julian. I'm all right. I've just switched off Sky Sports News because there was too much about Harry Kane going on.
Oh dear, we'll get all into that shortly. But first, you can find us on Spotify, Apple. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So, what is North London Is? Over to you, Perry.
I came up with the idea of North London Is because I listen and watch a lot of Arsenal podcasts. And sad as it is, I've also kind of followed quite a few Tottenham kind of celebrities. Yeah, I do on Twitter. They are very, very funny, especially after the season that you had last year. But I came up with the idea of combining a legend like yourself of the Tottenham Hotspur fan club and somebody like myself who has Arsenal running through their veins. And I thought it'd be a great idea if we actually did a podcast together. We've known each other for 40 years. We were at school together. Yeah. We won't really go too much into that. We've kept in touch over the years, and I contacted you at the start of this year, and I thought, why not do a podcast together?
Hold on. You contacted me the week before you played at Anfield. Very confident, if I remember. Thinking
getting straight into it.
We win at Anfield, and we could be doing a podcast with Arsenal as Premier League champions. But I think more to the point, you actually had to wait 6-7 years for Arsenal to finally finish above Spurs before having the bottle to approach me to do a podcast with you. Isn't that right?
Well, it was 6-7 years that we failed to finish above you, but I think it was about 20 years before that you failed to finish above us. So is the question, did we bottle the league last year? Is that what you're kind of trying to...
Wow, you obviously can read my mind. Have you recovered from that?
Oh, Jules. Listen, we came up against a side that went on and won the treble. Yes, we drew those 3 games. I think it's lazy journalism. I think it's lazy to say Arsenal bottled it. At the end of the day,
you could have lost against City home and away, but had you got results against West Ham, Southampton, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, hold on to a 2-0 lead at Anfield, you would have quite comfortably won the league, no?
I think, yeah. I mean, listen, you've got it's a 38 game season, and with 30 games to go, I think it was about 28 games to go. We looked good. We didn't have a good enough squad. Saliba got injured. Thomas Partey was playing with an injury. Bukayo Saka was not the player he was. And the big thing about Saliba getting injured is that not only is he one of the best central defenders probably in the world now, but we brought in Rob Holding for a couple of games, and it completely changed the way we play because we play a high pressing game and we had to defend a lot deeper. So I was incredibly proud of how Arsenal played last year. We scored 88 goals. I personally think it's time to get on to the magnificent Tottenham Hotspur and talk about what the hell happened to you last year with the most unbelievable manager in Antonio Conte. I think he won everywhere he's been. Mind you, Mourinho won everywhere he had been before as well. You started the season with Kane, Son, Kulusevski, Mora, this one, that one, bought Richarlison. You were going to challenge City, Jules. What happened? Did you just Spurs it again? Was it Spursy?
It was a disastrous season. Hands up. I can't sugarcoat it. I mean, Conte came in November. We were 9th. I thought he did a miracle to get us top 4. We finished top 4 after beating Norwich 5-0. I drove home with my son thinking, we really can make a statement this summer with quality signings. We've made the Champions League. We've got Conte as manager, and the first few signings seemed quite promising, but as it turned out, a lot of those signings just didn't hit the ground running. I think Conte didn't play Basuma or didn't treat Basuma that well before he got a very bad injury.
Arsenal should have signed Basuma. We would have signed Basuma.
Yeah, Basuma was, there were links with Arsenal, weren't there? And Liverpool were rumoured to be interested. And I was excited when we bought him. He was Brighton's best player. And I thought, quality signing. But Conte didn't obviously see it that way. We spent 60 million on Richarlison, which we think, okay, that's a statement, because does he get into the first 11? He doesn't dislodge Kane at all. But we played him out of position when we played him, and he didn't take his chances, which is frustrating, because at the World Cup, when he is playing down the middle, he's quality, but you can't play him ahead of Kane.
No, but is the problem really Tottenham is really Kane, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest. Let's get straight down to it. Without Harry Kane, there's not much going on, is there? And it's a massive, massive, massive couple of weeks for Tottenham. Is he going to stay, or is he going to go?
I always thought he would stay, and probably.
I think he'll stay because he's a loser.
Well, a lot of people think, you feel sorry for Kane, and you've got to let him go. He's got to go and win trophies. But with Spurs over the last 6-7 years, he's had 2 title challenges. He's played in 2 domestic finals, and he's played in 1 Champions League final. And I think it's fair to say, in any of those 3 finals, I can't remember 1 shot he's had on target. Now, don't get me wrong, he is a quality player, and if he leaves this summer, we are going to miss him.
Hold on, hold on a second, George. Are you saying that he's let you down in the big games?
No, but it's a two-way thing. We've given him the platform to get to, as I said, 2 domestic finals, the biggest competition in the world, the Champions League. We got him to the final.
I don't want to talk about that run. I don't want to talk about it.
But that run was without Kane, right?
Yeah.
So, we have given him the platform, and had he scored in one of those finals, right, or scored in one of the title challenges that we had with Chelsea or Leicester, and we had ended up winning maybe 1 trophy or 2 trophies, would he have been so desperate to leave now? I'm not so sure.
The question you've got to ask yourself is this: if you're Harry Kane, everybody's going on. I was thinking about this the other day, right? Everybody's going on, oh, he wants to win the record. He wants to break Shearer's record. And great. And don't get me wrong. Listen, he's been one of the most annoying footballers in my life in the last 10 years. He has literally,
every time they play you. That's why.
Single-handedly, literally kept Spurs relevant as far as I'm concerned. But ask yourself this, right? He would break the record. He'll break if he stays injury free. Sorry, he will break the record in the next 2-3 years. One day, somebody will then break that record again. Correct? One day, it might not be while we're alive, but one day somebody will break it. You can't take away a league title. You can't take away an FA Cup win. You cannot take away even a Carabao Cup win. And I'm not saying he can't win trophies at Spurs. I'm saying he won't win trophies at Spurs. But being honest, without all the banter, if he goes to City, United, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, he's pretty much guaranteed trophies, isn't he?
Well, if he goes to Bayern Munich, and they certainly at the moment, at the time of recording, look the favourites to get him if he does go. But I don't believe for one moment it's a burning ambition of him to win the German league title. And I don't think he's going to win the Champions League with Bayern Munich. Now, do you leave Spurs to go to United to win a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup? If you're going to leave, you want to leave to win one of the big trophies. And I don't think, I think if he waits a year, he can choose any club he wants. And that includes Barcelona, Real Madrid, City potentially if Haaland goes to Madrid.
I think he will. I don't think he'll go.
You know.
I don't think he'll go. I think he will wait a year. I think you're right. But I think he should be putting pressure on Daniel Levy now. The problem is Manchester United. You're very lucky because Manchester United have got an FFP situation. Because I think he would go to Man United. I think he would leave Spurs to go to Man United. I know he's just building this house in Cobham.
I don't think United are winning the league or Champions League in the next 2 or 3 years.
I think if they bought Harry Kane,
you think they'd overtake City?
I don't think they'd be favourites over City, but I think they could.
2 years ago, I could totally get him wanting the City move, and let's be honest, he wanted City. Right?
But Jules, he scored every season. He scores if he's fit. He scores 25 goals. Him and Rashford up front, they've got a pretty decent defence. Their midfield is a little bit iffy. Listen, we played them the other night, okay? It's a friendly. We're taking off players, they're bringing on players. For the first 45 minutes, we played a very strong side, Arsenal. Yes, it was all new. It was Havertz and Timber and Rice and Nketiah. I'll come on to that, I'm sure, the whole of this season up front. But they were as good as us. They were fitter than us. They were stronger than us. Are they going to be better than us this season? No, I think we will finish above them. You put Harry Kane in that side. You put Harry Kane in Manchester United side. They challenge City. And I think they could even be above Arsenal.
I think you're right. I think they do challenge City with Kane there. But I think for him, it's a risk to go to United. Not so much to go to...
He won't go to United. He'll either go to Bayern or he'll go to Real Madrid.
The disappointing thing is there seems to be a real downer at Spurs at the moment. Yes, I get we didn't make Champions League.
Well, that's not disappointing, Jules.
We haven't got...
It's not disappointing. No, it's not. It's good.
It is from where we were, right? You've made Champions League first time in what, 6 years, 7 years?
17, I think. 17. We haven't been in the Champions League yet.
Continuously been one of the Premier League's biggest spenders every summer, right? Now, we don't make Champions League this year, right? And all of a sudden, right, last few weeks, we conceded 63 goals last year, and we're haggling over one centre-back, right? As if one centre-back is going to fix all our problems. We need at minimum 2 centre-backs. Go and get them. Show Kane a bit of ambition by buying...
But you are where Arsenal were before Stan Kroenke got completely...
Hold on, you didn't make Champions League last season. You still spent big last summer.
Because it's about time we did. Jules, we moved into the Emirates 2006. We didn't start spending money proper. I'm not talking about spending money. We've always spent a bit of money. We didn't, although there was that summer where we just bought Czech. We didn't spend money until Kroenke got complete control of the club. And now we're spending money. But I still say this. I mean,
whatever happened last year, whether you bottled it or not, and most fans or
most neutrals,
and I don't know, a few Arsenal fans I know believe you bottled it. What can be in no doubt, though, is the money you've spent this summer
puts the pressure on.
You've got to admit you've won the league, right? It's still July and you've spent about 220.
Let me ask you something. Yeah, we've spent the money, but hold on. This money argument. Hold on. This money argument is, first of all, you've got to take inflation into consideration.
Of
course you have. Of course you have. Listen, Enzo Fernandez, is that the player at Chelsea? Enzo Fernandez goes for 105 million, right, last January. Sorry, come on. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And all of a sudden, you've got Manchester City, Chelsea, in the last 10 years, inflating the market. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because I actually don't give a damn, but we've got to go and buy Declan Rice, who is probably the best English midfielder out there. Maybe him and Jude Bellingham.
Quality player.
Right. We've got to spend 100 million. Is he worth 100 million? I don't know. What is worth 100 million? Tonight, I'm reading that Al Hilal, or whatever they're called, have bid 259 million for Mbappe. We've spent money.
Just 1 year.
Well, they're going to pay him £600 million for a year wages.
Just mad.
No, that's ridiculous. So Arsenal have spent the money, but if you look player for player, I actually honestly believe, with my head, not my heart, City are still favourites, and I make Liverpool and Arsenal pretty even, depending on what your thoughts are on Virgil van Dijk now. Is he the central defender that he was? Don't know, not sure. Will the Hungarian captain and McAllister be as good as Fabinho and Henderson? Not sure, but their front five is absolutely superb. Manchester City, I know they've lost Gundogan, but
Alvarez.
Listen, I know, but Alvarez, Haaland, De Bruyne, Grealish, Bernardo, and Jules, we've still got another month and a bit to go of the transfer window. You know, who knows what could happen? So, listen, I'm not going to say there's not pressure on Arsenal, because there's going to be huge. We finished second last year. If we don't finish second this year and we finish third, has it been a failure? It depends. I don't know. I mean, Champions League is going to take a toll on us. We haven't played Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday for 6-7 years. We've been playing Thursday, which has always been annoying, but he's been able to rest the players. We've got a deeper squad now. I still think we need more. I still think we need somebody who can replace Saka, because Saka's played something like 1,000 games in a row. So we need somebody to replace him. But, you know, listen, I'm confident. I think we're finished top 3. I want to get back to the beautiful, magnificent Tottenham Hotspur. What's going to happen if Harry Kane goes? Where are you going to finish?
That is the big question. No one can predict that. I mean, it all depends. You can't replace Harry Kane, because if you can, Bayern Munich will be after them, you know. If he goes, I think you've got to buy 2 players, you know. You've got to buy... I mean, I think they'll play Richarlison down the middle up front, which is his best position.
You can't buy forward. You can't buy fantastic centre forwards at the moment.
And so therefore he's going to have to buy probably quality winger, maybe creative midfield, another creative midfielder, and a striker. You know, so
okay, if he stays.
If he stays,
so you're saying you know you didn't answer me. Where are you going to finish if he goes? Where are you going to finish if he stays? I mean, this time last year, I was being told that Son, Kane, and Kulusevski were the best front 3 in Europe. Come on, you've got to.
Kulu had a poor season, right? Son had
where was Son?
Right, but those two had an awful season, right? But 3 more wins, right? On the back of a hugely disappointed season, we have 3 or 4 more wins than we had last season. We'll get into the top 4, right? But it's a big if. It's a big if.
I mean, you know, listen. I'm not even going to start, because people are going to turn off this podcast on some of the refereeing decisions last year. In some of the games.
I was lucky. I mean, listen, you can't deny that.
I mean, seriously, when we discuss referees and what I think about what's been going on with Arsenal the last few years. But listen, the question
I've got... Where do you see Spurs finishing?
If Kane goes or Kane stays?
Both.
I think if Kane stays, I can see you finishing 4, 5, or 6. I think if he leaves, I think you're in serious trouble. Unless you go out and you buy 2, you're not going to be able to buy a centre forward, but you've got to go out and buy some phenomenal players. I think you've got a decent manager, but he's going to be a manager that's going to play a very high pressing game. I'm not sure, by the way, just another thing to bear in mind. I'm not sure Harry Kane is suited to Postecoglou's system.
No,
I'm not actually sure he is. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm a guru of Postecoglou, because I watched a little bit of Scottish football last year, but he played quite a high pressing game.
He plays a very high pressing game.
I think that the most important thing for Spurs this season, if Kane stays, is to keep Basuma fit, get Bentancur back, get rid of Højbjerg. He'll go to Atletico.
Yeah.
Get in some centre halves, because all your Spurs mates are going to come on and absolutely annihilate me for saying this. I don't even rate Romero that much. I'd have Saliba and Gabriel and Ben White above Romero. I think Romero for Argentina is good because he's allowed to get away with a lot of the shenanigans he gets away with. I don't think he's good.
I think when he's got his head screwed on, he's a quality player. But too often last season, he was a liability. We've had him for 2 seasons. He's missed 40 games.
That's awful. That's another thing. Is he injury prone?
That isn't just injuries. A lot of that was suspension. He missed a large part leading up to the World Cup. Right?
Yeah.
He missed the last 3 games when if you remember correctly, were 4 points clear of us with 3 games to go.
And then that diabolical refereeing decision at White Hart Lane. And I've never seen a decision like that. I've never seen a decision.
It's horrendous assault. Anyway, so I parked up when we played Arsenal the night we won 3-0 and team news came through, no Romero, Sanchez. And it looked like Sanchez was going to play our last 3 games. And we didn't concede a goal. And,
how much did you spend on Sanchez?
Just about 8 million short on what you paid for Ben White.
Who would you rather have, Ben White or Sanchez?
Sanchez started very well. I mean, I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you used to remember watching the Champions League because you weren't in it. But one of Sanchez's best games was at the Bernabeu. All right, when he was playing alongside either Toby or Jan, he was quality. And this is going back to the Romero. Romero needs a quality centre back by his side.
Well, surely you're going to
buy that with Dyer
or Sanchez or is it?
I agree. That's why I said to you. That's why I said to you. We need minimum 2 centre backs. We get rid of Sanchez, get rid of Dyer. Get 2 quality, spend 80 million on 2 centre backs, because centre backs, unless you're Arsenal and you're throwing 50 million at a centre back, you're going to spend 40 million on centre backs. All right. So let's spend 80 million. All right. Let's keep Kane because as a fan, I'd rather keep him for a season and because we've got certainly more chance potentially getting top 4 with a Kane than without a Kane.
Well, the other thing to bear in mind is the top 5. The top 5 may get it this season.
Yeah. And getting the Champions League is worth 50 million.
Yeah, listen, if I'm a Spurs fan,
hold on to him for a year.
If I'm a Spurs fan, which is actually making me itchy saying that, but if I was a Spurs fan, there is no way I would want Harry Kane to go. I don't give a damn about the money. Well, I do give a damn about the money because Daniel Levy, a lot of you think that he doesn't spend it and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But I would want Harry Kane to stay. With Kane in your team, get Son back to be a little bit better than what he was last year. Well, not a little bit better. Get Bentancur fit, buy a centre-half. Of course, you're going to challenge for 4th, 5th or 6th, possibly even higher. Who knows what's going to happen? I think Villa have bought really, really well as well. Really
good
well.
Manager.
They've got a good. Interesting. He is a good manager, but I think he took over, and we'll get into this as the season goes on. He treated unfairly
at Arsenal.
I liked him. I think he is a good manager. I think we had a very, very toxic club when he took over. I think that Arteta has performed, and I mean this, a miracle what he's done with our club. If you look before what we've spent,
461 million in the last 3 years.
Before what you spent, he's got rid of. He had to look at your team, look at City's team, look at Liverpool's team, and look at our team 3-4 years ago. There's not one player now. Xhaka's gone. Not one player. You've had Kane, Son, Dyer, Davis, Lloris.
I agree.
And I know you're not going to be happy with Dyer and Davis.
We are all sellers.
No. But the point I'm saying is, you've lived off Son and Kane for a long time.
Yeah.
City lived off and continuing to live off De Bruyne, Mahrez, Diaz, Gundogan. Yes, they went and got the robot, who knows what's going to happen with him this year. And look at Liverpool, Van Dijk, Alisson they bought, Salah. Arteta had to completely get rid of absolutely everybody, has completely reconstructed a brand new team. Yeah, we've had to spend money. I agree. We have spent money. Had we won the league last year, not as good as Ranieri, but after Ranieri, one of the great achievements, considering who we're up against. Listen, we're running out of time. When is this coming out, Jules? When are we going to?
Well, we are going to be recording on the first weekend of the Premier League season. So we'll be recording on Sunday, the 13th of August. And then
after your Brentford game? After your
Brentford game.
Not an easy start. But as usual, you've got lucky. Ivan Toney doesn't play. Incredible from Spurs. How they've organised that. It's incredible. Whereas we're playing, a side that.
Hold on, you're playing, right? You're playing at home. Hold on. You're playing at home first game of the season. You're playing at home, I believe, on Boxing Day, and you're playing at home last game of the season. And you're complaining about how the fixtures have come out.
Boxing Day?
Well, who wants to travel far on Boxing Day? Or is it New Year's Day? One of them.
I think I'll be watching Arsenal from Tenerife if I'm lucky on Boxing Day. No, I think it's going to be a good season. I think there's a lot to happen before the season starts. I think it's going to be close. I'm interested to see, from my team's point of view, I think we'll be getting rid of a few players before we next speak. And I would imagine maybe one more signing. For Spurs, all about the one-man team, isn't it?
It is all about whether Kane stays or goes. But, I'm still looking forward to the season. I think, watching Angie's press conferences in Australia and Singapore, I think he comes across very well. He's going to, I think, excite the Spurs fans, because we have had a few years of, even though we qualified for the Champions League last season, it's just been boring. First Jose, then Nuno, and then Conte. The football has been poor. I think he plays fast attacking football. I can see us conceding goals for sure, especially if he doesn't improve our centre-backs. But, Maddison, I think, we haven't even touched about Maddison. I think he's a quality player. I think he fits in to our team with what Ange will want to play. And, as you said, we need more from Son. We need more from Kulu. We need more from Richarlison. And, it's impossible to say how Spurs are, because we don't know if Ange is going to be a success or not. It's a big risk, the appointment. But listen, they've gone down the showbiz Hollywood appointments with Jose and Conte, and it didn't work. So I think Spurs fans, will take I think we've got to have, potentially, one step backwards to make two steps forward. And I think it's going to be a bumpy road. The first few months, it's not going to gel. I think it's going to take him a while to get the pattern of play that he wants, because we're a counter-attacking team, and he doesn't play that way. And we've got to get that out of our system quickly. And hopefully, if the football's exciting, the fans will be okay. If we can get, top six, small steps, let us build. But
playing you fifth game of the season, aren't we?
We are playing you on September the 26th, which is my youngest birthday. So one way or not, he's going to be very happy or not at all. But
as much as I am assured he is a magnificent young man, I am hoping that for 90 minutes he doesn't enjoy his birthday.
Listen, I've enjoyed our first episode. It's gone quite well.
It's been great. It's been great, and we will be obviously having some lovely guests appearing later on.
Yes, we've got some big plans for this podcast. You and I have been planning it for a few months now. I'm looking forward to it. So until we launch our main big episode on the first weekend of the Premier League season on August the 13th. Stay safe, and remember, folks, North London is goodbye.